hold the phone for a second. Let's just stop and think for a second about what is happening. So in 1 week, Cannes said AI is killing the soul of cinema, but they turn around and write a check to the company building the AI and put a film on its screens where the same company is the financial partner. We need to talk about this. Let's back up for a second, okay? If you guys are new to the channel, let me give you guys some context. Last week, I posted a video over our short film, Race Against Time. It was a film that was 3 years in the making, but I've been researching distribution options, and one of them is Cannes Film Festival. I know it's a long shot, but it's a dream of every indie production to actually get something accepted there. Because here's the thing. Cannes Film Festival, it has been running for over 75 years, and they put it on in May. For most of that time, it has been the place where serious filmmakers brought their best work. I mean, let's think of Tarantino, right? He broke wide there in '94 with Pulp Fiction, and they also offered the top prize. I think that a lot of filmmakers can back me when I say this. It carries a lot more weight than the Oscars. Here's the thing about Cannes, though. It was never about the big name studio blockbusters. That was literally not the point at all, right? It was about the art. It was about cinema. And it was the kind of filmmaking that does not have a big name studio behind them. It does not have a $300 million budget, right? It was the kind made by people who actually had something to say. So here's the thing. When Hollywood or a big name studio shows up at Cannes, it sends a valuable message. It sends that message that the industry still values craft and the studios still care about something beyond opening weekend. And this year, well, Hollywood did not show up at all. And what Cannes did next, that is the whole story. So let me be straight with you guys for a second. I have seen people online try to brush this off as a scheduling issue, and it is not, okay? According to France 24 and AFP reporting from yesterday, no major U.S. studio agreed to launch a blockbuster at Cannes this year. So that means like Universal, Disney, Warner Brothers, all those big name studios, none of them showed up. And this is the second year in a row. And then we got Berlin in February that had the same story. The two biggest film festivals on the planet, and the major U.S. studios ghosted both of them back to back. And here's what the Cannes director said. The Cannes director came out in his Monday press conference and said he really hopes the studios come back. And he blamed it on scheduling issues and industry turmoil. And, you know, he's not wrong about the turmoil, right? Because we have talked about that on this channel for the past few months. But here is the question nobody wants to ask out loud. What does it say when a big name studio will not even show up for the biggest celebration of serious filmmaking in the world? You know, the only American films in the main competition this year are indie productions. Now that says something for us, right? But the big name studios, they just decided it was not worth the plane ticket. Here is where it gets wild. And honestly, this is why I had to stop everything and shoot this video today. So the Cannes director holds his press conference on Monday, and he goes hard against AI, and I mean extremely hard. This is a direct quote from the report. What is certain is that here in Cannes, we stand with the artists, we stand with the screenwriters, and we stand with everyone in these professions. And then he talked about how job losses are mounting for dubbing artists and translators, and also writers and actors who do not know if they are going to have a career in 5 years, which is all true, right? Because AI is advancing, and it's advancing fast. Like you can actually edit a whole video now using AI. Don't get me started. It's just crazy. But anyway, he went further and he said Cannes should create labels for their films. Kind of like, you know, the organic food labels that we see on all our food packaging. So you could look at a poster and see if this film was made with or without artificial intelligence. And that is how serious he said he is. And there is actually real history behind that statement. You know, back in February, before Cannes even started, about 4,000 French actors and filmmakers signed an open letter. According to Variety, they called those tools a devouring, hydroplungering artist. and they said this across the industry, and that was the exact phrase. So Cons had every reason to take a stand on this, and I commend them for that. But that same Monday, the director said all that, the festival announced a multi-year sponsorship deal with Meta. And honestly, I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to go to a movie theater and question if it was made by AI or if it was actually a real actor. Because let's just think about this. The big name studios only care about lining their pockets. And why would they spend, let's say, $15 million on a named actor when they can create a named actor and generate it for a lot less? So it gets me thinking about all this. And here's the thing about Meta, that sponsorship deal. That same Meta, Zuckerberg's Meta, is one of the most aggressive AI companies on the planet, and that's the one they signed with. And according to Meta's own press release on their website, they are using the partnership to showcase their AI-powered video generative technology. Like, it's just insane, right? The thing that the Cons director just spent a press conference attacking against. And then it gets way deeper than that. You see that there is a documentary premiering at Cons this year about John Lennon, the last interview he gave hours before he was killed in 1980. And for parts of that film, the director partnered with Meta to generate AI footage. And according to Deadline, Meta provided both the AI tools and the financial backing to finish the movie. So literally about 10% of the documentary is AI generated. Hold the phone for a second. Let's just stop and think for a second about what is happening. So in 1 week, Khan said AI is killing the soul of cinema, but they turn around and write a check to the company building the AI and put a film on its screens where the same company is the financial partner. How does that even make sense? Okay, that is not a principled stand, and that is what it looks like when the money talks louder than the conviction. Here's why I really needed to make this video today. And I mentioned earlier in this video about Race Against Time, right? And I'm researching the distribution. And this week I actually was researching Cons, looking at the past winners, reading submission requirements, and wondering if, you know, a film like Race Against Time could ever even be in the conversation of being accepted. And I know it's a long shot, okay? I know it's a very long shot. I understand that. Registration, though, you know, obviously is closed for this year, so I have a year to wait for it. But here is what I actually learned by doing the research. The festival I was dreaming about is not the festival that exists in 2026. The festival I was actually dreaming about would not put an AI-generated documentary on its screens while talking about labels and protection. You see, that festival used to exist, and it just doesn't anymore. And I had to sit with that this week because I think a lot of indie filmmakers are doing the same thing right now, looking at the gatekeepers, hoping somebody up there is going to stand up for the work we are trying to make, and hoping that the institutions are going to have our back. But honestly, I don't think that's ever going to happen. It's not going to come for you. So here's what I want you guys to take from this video. If you guys don't take anything else, take this. Don't let anyone, including myself or anyone else on YouTube University, talk you out of this industry. No matter how scary or how hairy it looks right now, you set your own path and you have a unique voice. And that voice matters more than any festival sponsorship deal. And with all that, I do feel like I want to submit still when the registration opens. Long shot or not, you know, I need to do it because the only thing that has ever moved this industry forward is filmmakers who keep going when the institutions stop showing up. And that is the work. That has always been the work. And nobody at Cons is going to do it for you. If you think Cons selling out to Meta does not affect you as an indie filmmaker, watch this one next. The same AI boom that just bought Cons is wrecking the price of every hard drive and SD card you need to make the movie. So watch this one and I will see you there.